All right, Bruce.
Do
I'm very,
it.
very excited to have Bruce join me today. This is called the Tea Shop Chat, and the whole point of it is to imagine like I'm at a tea shop and I see my friend Bruce on his BSA SLR or whatever, and I say, "Hey, Bruce," and he comes over, and we're gonna have a chat and catch up, and get to know Bruce a little bit more, and introduce Bruce to whoever does not know him, which is very few. So, Bruce, welcome. Tell
Thank
me
you,
tell me
Conrad.
about you. Tell me about. We all know you as Bruce Lee, but I'm sure you have a middle name. Some people don't. Yeah, where do you live? What do you do? Just a brief overview, dude. Let us know who you are.
Overview. My time starts now. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Conrad. And it's always a pleasure to see you, man. It brings back very old memories.
Yeah.
So, back to your question. Yeah, my name is Bruce, and my saint name is Jude, and my surname is Lee. So, it's Bruce Jude Lee. So, shortly known as the legendary Bruce Lee, who's the original. And I'm like the carbon copy of him. So, so About myself, what do I say? I come
Yeah.
from a family of five siblings.
No way.
We are five brothers, and luckily, I happen to be the youngest. So I don't know what responsibility is. When I was growing up, I didn't know what
Yeah.
it was because I just took it all for granted. And my four elder brothers were always taking care of me after my parents had passed away and stuff like that.
So where do you live
So,
now?
yeah, right now I live in a place called Valsaravakam. It's closer to all the studios and it's the hub where movies are made all over India.
Oh, nice.
So
Is it
this
like the
vicinity.
is it like the Nashville of Madras? Or
Oh yeah,
whatever?
you can
Yeah.
say that for sure. It's
Nice.
like the seat of movie production
Oh, nice.
because people from all over India come to this radius of 10 kilometers to make the movies.
Mm,
Yeah, there are like more than 225 studios in within this 15-kilometer radius.
really?
Unbelievable, right? It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. It's just unbelievable. It's like a fish market. It's literally like that. Every street has a studio.
Wow.
Studios, when I say studios, it means like it can also be a one-room booth where you do dubbing
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
voiceovers and
Yeah.
stuff. And then you get to the bigger studios where you do production, you do editing, and you do 7.1 Dolby mixes, where an entire orchestra could be seated and
Oh,
live
wow.
drums and live this, that, and stuff can be recorded.
And this is you're just talking like all music studios, right? Obviously there's film studios as well, right? Oh, is it all mostly music in this part of town?
There are film studios as well where you
Okay.
have shooting floors and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's not like locations because
Got
this is
it.
in city. The locations of
Yeah.
like the bridges and buildings
Yeah.
and temples and churches, mosques, and those things
Yeah.
are in film cities. So in the city, like if you step in, you can step out with a full-fledged movie being made in
Yeah.
terms of every single thing to do with audio.
Mm.
And you have
So
editing suites as well, where you edit your films and all that stuff. So
so what Bruce did not say, and that's because Bruce is a humble person, and we're talking about music, is because Bruce is a well-renowned, in-demand guitarist. Uh,
okay.
Absolutely. He's played in like major movies. You probably heard Bruce, and you just did not know it was Bruce. If you watch any movie in the last, I don't know, like 20 years, 10 years, I don't know how long you've been doing in the movie scene, but that's and Bruce has always been a great guitarist. It's just that now he's playing in movies. We've all known. So Bruce did. He just brushed past that little thing in his life. As you can tell by the guitars, that's not a fake background. That's a real background. so yeah. So you are, yeah. We definitely, music is a big part of your life. We'll talk about that, but I want to know, that's what everybody sees. They see the Bruce on stage and they see, right? But I want to know about your more about you, apart from music, and what makes you tick. What are you into? What do you like? You know, and obviously, to be a successful musician, you have to have certain disciplines in life, right? You're not just you have to be intentional. There's a certain business sense that you need to have, a certain code of ethics, right? That we don't talk about. We just look at the flair and the stage and the spotlights and say superstar, but we don't look at all the hard work that it takes and the discipline, and the years of practice. So just want to dig into all of that. But let's go back and start from Bruce as a kid. Where did you grow up?
Oh, I grew up in this beautiful, warm, cozy place called Pudupet, and it was a beautiful place. Like everyone's home, Pudupet was my home, and it was my entire world when I was in school. I mean,
Hmm.
all I knew was my home,
Yeah.
church, and school. I didn't know anything else.
Was it St. Anthony's? What's the big school
Oh
there?
yeah, yeah, St. Anthony's Convent, the Presentation
Yeah.
Convent.
Did you go to that school?
Oh yes, I
Yeah.
did, I did. And in fact, we still meet every year for the alumni meet, and it's like so nostalgic to get in there.
Oh,
So my
really?
mom was teaching in the same school, so that was one solid reason why I didn't know anything apart from school and home. So she always had a hold on me, and yeah, that was it. And five of us clustered in two rooms, five children,
Wow.
my
Yeah.
four siblings,
Yeah.
and it was dad who was a Chinese
Yeah.
from Shandong, China.
Nice. Tell me about that. Tell me
Oh yeah,
how much about your dad's history do you know? Do you know his family? Do you still keep in touch? How much of
yes,
that side
yes.
of the family do you? I'd love to know that history. And then how did your mom and your dad meet? I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, mom and dad, God bless their souls. They were so much in love. Dad
Hmm.
was a pure Chinese man who had come to Assam for business,
Oh wow.
fabric stuff. And mom had gone from Chennai to teach in a convent in Assam.
Mm.
And it was love at first sight. That was how my mom always described it. Okay. Mom was like 22 years younger to dad,
Mm.
and she was this teacher in this convent, and dad was a Chinese man who had no knowledge of English, just few
Oh
words of
wow.
English. And he seen my mom and fell in love with her. He did not know how to go about it. He did not know how to handle it and stuff. So finally the nuns kind of liked him because my dad was always this very sweet, honest guy. And they used to welcome him to the convent when he used to go there to supply fabric for the whole thing and whatever stuff.
Mm.
And then there came a point where my mom had to get back to her hometown, that is Chennai, to get back here. And my dad really grew lovesick and he couldn't take it anymore. So he went to the convent and spoke to them, and of course they placed a trunk call. Used to call it trunk call and telegram those
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Communication was like the world was bigger than it is actually. Okay.
Yep.
So they got in touch with my mom, and mom said it's okay and blah blah blah. So my dad came over, shifted base to Chennai with Wong Wu Ching, my dad's cousin.
Mm.
So and a few more people from China. So they shifted the base to Chennai because of my dad, and my dad convinced my mom's folks. My grandfather's a British man. He's Mr. McHugh.
Hmm.
Okay. And my grandmom is Anglo in turn.
Yeah.
So my dad is pure Chinese. So that's a big
Yeah.
amalgamation of nations.
Yeah.
Whatever. So so then dad and mom were married, and they had five of us, of course. And yeah, since dad was like 23 years elder to mom, everyone used to think dad's working with his daughter.
Mhm.
So it used to be like that, and they were like so fully into each other, so much in love with each other, that not once in my life I heard my dad yell at my mom
Wow.
or even stare at my mom the wrong way. Because my mom always, she was never a yelling person.
Yeah.
She used to quote to me and stuff when I do something real crazy, but never yell at home. But she
Yeah.
was extremely loving. Mom and dad were like just so perfect. And if it rains, when it's time for my mom to come back from school, and if my mom doesn't come, my dad will take the umbrella and go
Hmm.
right up to school and walk her back home, and they'll be holding hands under the umbrella, and
Mhm.
his hand will be over her shoulder, walking back home. And this was what I seen all my life. My dad washing my mom's feet and
Yeah.
pressing her legs,
Oh wow.
and yeah, man, it's so amazing. Just watching them is like the
Mm.
best thing. There's nothing I watch better than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they used
Yeah.
to wake up early, and cook for the house. And my dad used to chop up stuff, and my dad used to make all the Chinese things, noodles
Mm.
and matu is a traditional Chinese bun, and Chinese New Year used to be celebrated. Christmas used to be celebrated and stuff like that. And
Yeah. Now,
it
was your
was,
dad? Was your dad like? Was he? What was his religion? Obviously, he was working in the convent, so he was. Was he a Christian when he came to Assam?
no, he was a hardcore Buddhist by
Okay.
default.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
a Buddhist. He came there for fabric. He had a separate business, and he used to supply to this convent. My mom
Mm.
was actually. So when he came here, he used to be a part of this hotel called Chungking, which was in Chennai, which was extremely famous at that time.
Mm.
It was situated above Musi Musicals, the current Musi Musicals, the biggest music store in Chennai city.
Mm.
So the entire upper floor was theirs, and yeah, so dad used to be a part of that hotel. So he was a hotelier after that.
Nice. That's quite the
That was,
story. That's quite the
oh yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah.
So, do you do you keep in touch with your dad's family? Is there any connection to China? Have you ever visited, or any interest in going? Do you know? Is there any reason to visit? Do you know like anybody in China? Do you keep in touch?
We are very much in touch
Oh
through phone
wow,
call, through WhatsApp, and I have a lot of cousins there.
wow.
And
Any
one,
interest to visit?
oh yeah, it's like amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would love to visit, but
yeah,
my third brother Gerard,
yeah.
he works for a Japanese paint company,
Okay.
which takes care of painting ships when they dock. So that's a very big project. So my brother heads that.
Very big brush as well, paintbrush. I would imagine.
Oh yeah, you bet. Okay, so it's Nippon paints and Chugoku paints.
Okay.
It's like Japanese stuff.
Yeah.
So my brother gets to travel all around the world. Every
Oh
port
wow.
he has to visit
Yeah.
and inspect the ships and see how fit they are to sail back and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And
Yeah.
so, okay, so that's his job. So he goes to China as well, and when he goes there, he extends his stay by 3 days and visits all my cousins, and has dinner with them and catches up with all
Oh
of them,
wow.
and video calls, and the
Yeah.
whole family is like just
Yeah.
there.
So you guys, so I wasn't expecting that. I thought generally I wasn't expecting that. That's really cool though that that you're so close and right with your extended family in China.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
for you. It's a normal thing, right? Like that concept is probably not a common thing for somebody else. That would be like, wow, that's you have a whole family that probably does not look like the people around you, but in another country, but that's your family, right?
Yes.
That's for you. That's a normal thing, and for my kids who are growing up here and more Americanized, I can understand them. They have a whole family that looks different, speaks different in another country,
Yeah.
and to so that's a really cool thing. And I'm glad to hear that you keep in touch with them. I did not know that about you, so that's really cool, man. That's nice. So so you so your mom and dad, and tell me your dad's name again,
My dad is Mr. Lee
Mr.
Chen
Lee. Okay,
Ching, and
and
his baptized name, Christian name, is Joseph Lee.
what's your mom's name?
Mom is Mrs. Rita Philomena Lee.
Wow,
So it's a very
Philomena. I
cool
love that name.
combination.
I haven't heard of Philomena in ages. It's not a, right? That's such a
Very unique.
great name. It's such a strong name,
It
right?
is, it is.
And yeah,
And
tell me.
my brothers have strong names as well. My first brother is called Athanasius. Can you believe it?
Yeah,
I think mom used to read a lot of Shakespeare those days. So we can't call him Athanasius. Like
yeah,
four
yeah.
syllables is too much. So we call him Anto.
Okay.
So my second brother is Christy Lee since he was born on 24th, 25th,
Oh
24th,
wow.
24th December. Yeah. So Christy, he was named Christy Lee. My third brother is Gerard. My fourth brother is Janarius. That's again a tongue
Yeah,
twister.
yeah, yeah,
So we call him Jan.
yeah. And then Bruce is like Bruce a short of some bigger name, or is
Oh
it just
no,
Bruce?
it's just Bruce. So when they came to the hospital, they fought with my dad to name me Bruce because they just wanted me to be Bruce Lee.
Yep.
So my brothers were like, please name him Bruce, not any other name. My mom had some Robert and all in mind. Thank God it was not Robert. Oh my God, I love my name.
I love it. I love it that that your brothers and your dad. That's such a boy thing to name some
Oh,
to
yeah,
have us.
serious.
I love it. That's a great story that your brothers had a say in your name as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So was your mom? What about your mom's side of the family? Do you know? Was she a Madras native, or did she land up in Madras, but did she grow up somewhere else?
As far as I remember, grandmom was from Chennai.
Okay,
Yeah, from Narasingapuram.
where is
Then,
that?
oh, Narasingapuram is where like Keith Peters and all of them stayed first initially. It's like by Alankar Theatre, Mount Road,
Mount
somewhere
Road.
there at the
Okay,
back of that theatre.
yeah.
Somewhere. So that's
So
actually a very big hub for Anglos actually.
Narasingapuram, right?
Yeah, it's very big actually.
Has
It's
it
like,
always been like that?
yeah,
Really?
in the past. Oh, yeah, very much. Very much. We are
So
aware of our places, our famous places, Perambur,
yeah,
extremely
yeah,
famous,
yeah.
of course.
It's a
And
bubble.
it's a buzzing with life always.
Yeah,
But Narasingapuram and Roypeta are not too lively, the locality.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you might not know much about that. Perambur is where the fun is, the dance hall, the Railway
yep,
Institute, Mosquito Hall, this, that, everything happens in Perambur.
yep. See, also, I am so far removed. It's been so many years. Like, if you tell me a place, like, I have to like think about it. Like you say, Mount Road. Mount Road is I know where that is obviously, but you say Narasingapuram. I've heard of it. I know, but I've lost concept. Also, I think it's the weird dynamic, right? I think Perambur was probably the biggest concentration. I think of Anglo. So most people knew if you were outside of Perambur and you were growing up as an Anglo, like you know Mosquito Hall and all that, right? But Perambur people probably don't know much about other places.
Yeah.
Like what's the Mosquito Hall version of Narasingapuram? Nobody knows, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they have one, right? Maybe it's better or bigger, maybe, right? But Perambur was like the hub. At least that's what I maybe that's the bubble I grew up in Perambur, thinking Perambur was the greatest place in the world, and everybody else thought like that. Narasingapuram was like the best hub in the world.
Stepping into Perambur was always a wow factor for anyone
Yeah,
coming into Perambur.
yeah,
Even Mount was a pretty busy place because they had a dance hall there also.
yeah.
So wherever there's a strong cultural background, that place gets most recognition, I think, for us because ours is a very culturally rich community, you
Yeah,
know. So,
yeah,
so
yeah,
where there's more crowd and there's more interaction between our society, our
yeah.
people, and dances and parties and stuff, it's more sought after that place. And so coming to Penma was like really a wow for us because we just look around and see so much happening, and then we go home and it's all silent.
So
Penma was
tell
very
me, so before we jump ahead, uh, I'm really curious to hear, like, growing up. And I'm really fascinated by multiculturalism, right? Because obviously my kids, my wife is Caucasian, my kids like half. Well, there are many things. There are half anything. So when you were growing up, right, you had a Chinese dad and an Anglo mom. Were you aware? Again, your life was just normal, right? But when you went to school, did anybody know? Did you live growing up, and when did you realize, like, oh wait, there are not many other people who grew up in a family like this, or or was it always as a kid you were just aware of that? You know what I'm trying to ask? Like, did you notice anything? How was growing up like that in Pudapet and then later on?
Pudupet, growing up in Pudupet. In school, it was just a normal thing because there was one more Chinese family also.
Okay.
So they were the Tantak Foos. Tantafu, they were
Hmm.
called. So I used to be partners in table tennis with him.
Oh, nice.
So we had a thing going, you know. So, and whenever we walk into class, they say, "China karanga vanditanga."
Oh, so people, the perception was you were Chinese first. That's how people perceived
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's fascinating.
But it was not to ridicule or something, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
just because our eyes were little. I was
yeah,
more like this when I was kid. Like now, my
yeah,
eyes are kind of little more wider, actually.
yeah,
So they
yeah,
used to the normal thing in school, but no one kind of said anything offensive or something.
yeah, yeah,
Back then, things were very simple because,
yeah.
just to tell you a small thing that happened, India is a place we have caste and religion and this
Yep.
and tribes and stuff like that. We were so innocent and like so united in school.
Yeah.
We had to fill up a form before leaving school. It's only then we got to know what
Yeah.
scheduled caste is, scheduled tribe
Yeah.
is, your religion, your creed, and this and that, and your background, your ethnicity, and until then we had no
Yeah.
clue these things existed because we were so innocent about all
Yeah.
this.
Nobody cared, right?
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
didn't care about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, Pudupet was a beautiful place. It was a very simple upbringing where everyone knew each other. Every parent knew the other parent, and we were never out of place, even if we were in someone else's house or
Yeah.
whatever. We
Yeah.
just used to go to a friend's house, eat, and go back. They'll come to our house and they'll eat beef and they'll
Yeah.
go back.
Yeah.
So it was very like like one big community. It was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
But
love it.
then, as always, festival time we make like loads of kalkas and all
Mm.
five of us used to sit and roll that, and we used to distribute to some 25, 30 houses. Can you believe?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 25, 30 without exaggeration. It used to be like that. We used
Yeah.
to spend like 2 hours
Yeah.
just going to our neighbors' houses and giving them stuff and coming back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
of course, that's just to show how the place
Yeah.
was. So
How
school was very closed, like
how
for
were you
us.
as a how were you as a student?
Ah,
How was your report card?
where
Uh,
are the interview stats? See, I'll tell you how I was. You figure it out, okay? I'll just give you
okay.
an instance.
Okay.
So, my mom would not sign if I get bad grades.
Okay.
Dad's signature was easy to replicate. Chinese, it's just
Okay.
lines, okay?
Okay.
So the teacher's not going to understand if he signs or if I sign.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I mugged my
I
dad's Chinese signature. I used to sign.
I know what you're saying. I'm picking
So
it up.
I was a decent student. Yeah,
Yeah.
not too good, not too bad, but
Yeah.
extracurricular activities I used to top.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Right from handwriting to drawing and painting to
Yep.
poem writing to essay writing and speaking competitions where they give you a topic, you have to speak for 1 minute non-stop and stuff without a stutter, without using fillers of oh and stuff like that. All those things I used to bag like some 6 7 certificates every competition.
Nice. See, I
So I
told
was
you,
doing
Bruce is a
that.
humble guy. He did not tell you all of these things, but we slowly have to draw it out of him. You just have to squeeze it out of Bruce. And I'm not joking. I'm not. I'm really not joking. That's if anybody knows Bruce, they're probably nodding ahead right now and saying, "Yes, that's true, 100%." So, so who were your influences as you were growing up? And it could be who was like a. It could be musically. It could be life. Who was your biggest influence when you were growing up?
Influence has to be my dad and mom
Mm.
first. And I had an uncle called Mr. Ernest Sladen. He married my mom's sister.
Mm.
Her name was Audrey. Okay, so Sladens, they were spaced out in Arakonam and Pudupet and stuff like that.
Mm.
Sladens, okay. So this uncle used to make sure he's my godfather by the way. So on the religious front, I think I owe a lot to my godfather,
Oh, really?
Mr. Ernest Sladen, who's no more, God bless him. So he used to make sure I come sit in the choir, just next to him. I used to be a small kid with short pants and shoes, and he used to take me on a cycle those days, very long ago. Okay?
Yep.
So I owe a lot to him. I mean, the upbringing was like very religious. He used to tell me stories and Bible
Mm.
stories, and we lived in the same house. One portion divided by a huge veranda,
Yeah.
where all
Okay.
the four roofs come together and
Yeah.
rain comes in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah.
So that portion was my uncle's family. He had one son, and this portion was our family.
Hmm.
And dinner, I used to sit and eat by my uncle always, and he used to tell me all these stories of saints' lives and stuff like that. So about God and
Hmm.
all the stuff I need to know
Sladen. I
as a
love that
Christian.
name.
So yeah.
Was he?
So
Did you say Arconum? Have you ever played in Arconum?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that place, dude. I, we, my, I'm not, I'm pretty sure you know Donford and Denver Concesso, but they had an
yeah.
uncle in Arconum, and I think he was a engine driver. So we went there to Arkonam. This was a long time ago. It wasn't developed. It was like, and we got him from the station, and we had to go through all these bushes, and we went to
Yes.
his uncle's house, and everybody, like all the Anglo Indians in that neighborhood, like came to his house. They were hanging out, and then we went and played for New Year's in that small railway thing, just
Yeah,
in front of
by
the
the
tracks.
church.
One of the most beautiful places I've been to. I've like the people. As soon as you go there, it's like you've inherited a family of like 100 people. Everybody came to his house, and everybody was like so friendly. And then you just went and played with your friends, like and in that small place that was just
Yes.
pitch dark, right, in the middle of
Yeah,
nowhere. It's just thumping. It's I love it, dude. It's one of the things I remember the most. So you played in that little hall.
oh yeah, I did. I did.
Amazing,
I did. And there
amazing.
was this beautiful guitarist called Bernard.
He played
I
with his
don't know
fingers,
where.
right?
Sorry?
He did not use a pick. Was that the guy who played only with his fingers?
I think so. He
Like,
had a striped guitar like a Kramer kind of a
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I just watched him playing and I was like, wow, who the hell is this guy, man?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
He
so
was from
good.
Arkham. Yeah, if
Yeah.
it's the guy. He never used
And
a
then,
pick. Yeah, and I was like, and I
yeah,
was that wasn't a concept I was familiar with, and it was like this dude is killing it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then there's this Mr. Alfred Reno.
I
Alfie,
don't
a
know.
beautiful guitarist. He plays a right-handed guitar inverted.
Oh,
So
really?
his thick strings are down and his thin strings are up.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's very crazy the way he plays, and he was like boss.
Yeah.
So I used to study in St. Joseph's School. After St. Anthony's, I went to St.
Okay.
Joseph's.
Say, where is St. Joseph? Is that Vepri? Is that where it is?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Opposite the veterinary
Yeah,
hospital.
yeah, yeah.
So we were seven Anglos in class. It was Melroy Ribeiro, Marian Frater, Alistair Dubier,
It wasn't a
and
thriving
myself.
hub like Narasingapuram.
Oh yeah.
Where-
And we were seven Anglos, and we used to talk music, MLTR, Guns N' Roses, Metallica. That's about it. Nothing else.
yeah.
So it used to be that. So Mario Rose is from Arakonam. Rose family, Renault family, and so many, so many families were there. And we went there, and that's how I got into playing for the dance in Arakonam for the New
Oh,
Year's and
nice.
those.
Okay. Yeah.
And the next day we used to go play in church, and
Yeah.
very warm community,
Yeah.
extremely warm, beautiful
Yes.
community in Arakonam.
Yes.
So we always talk about Arakonam, Mario and myself, when we get together.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
dream is to play back in the same hall, but unfortunately, it's not existing anymore. The hall
Yeah.
is.
That's a shame. Yeah. I would love.
So,
It's such a. I just love the small town. Everybody knew everybody, and love it was in the middle of nowhere as well.
yeah.
So, so who was your? So what was your? Who was the musical influence? Was your dad? Did you ever see your dad pick up an instrument? First of all, I want to say, like, when you were talking about your mom and dad, it's very clear when you talk to someone and they had good parenting, right? So when you're telling me about your mom and dad, it just validates who you are, because you can now say, okay, I see now why Bruce is this kind of a person, because he had good parents. So when you see a well-behaved or well-mannered child, to put it in an Anglo phrase, you kind of know, like, the parents had to be exceptional, right? So yeah. So thanks for sharing that about you. I think it's very inspirational. Like
So proud
parenting,
of them. Yeah.
and the things that you noticed, right, about what, like, kids notice that, and that's how they learn how to treat a spouse. They learn from the parents. They learn from the father sets an example. Hey, son, I'm not teaching you, I'm not telling you, I'm showing you. This is how you behave, and kids pick it up, right? So
Yeah.
kudos to your parents, man. Well, they did a good job.
God bless
Now
them.
your other brothers might be hooligans. No, I'm joking, but no, I'm,
Oh
I'm
my
kidding.
God. Let me tell you something. Since I'm the last one,
Yeah.
it's so embarrassing sometimes. Till today, when my brothers meet me, you know what they call me?
Well,
They call me Brother Tiger. You have no clue how that feels. I'm like 46, 47 years old. And imagine in front of kids and elders, someone telling, hey, Brother Tiger, how are you? You know how the name came?
no.
Jackie Chan's movie, we were all watching it when I was
Yep.
6 years old or 7 or 8 years old. Jackie Chan, his name was Brother Tiger.
Oh, really? Hilarious.
So I used to imitate what Jackie Chan does, and that name stuck. And till today, after like some 38 years, they still call me Brother Tiger in public, and it's so embarrassing.
Hilarious. That's funny.
Crazy guys, really crazy
That's funny.
guys.
So tell me about your musical influence. Who influenced you? How did you pick up a guitar? Or what was your first instrument? Did you pick up a guitar first?
No, it was drums actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was drums. I was a drummer. I was pretty good actually on the drums, paradiddles and stuff. I was actually good. But then in school, I just don't know. I just got pushed into guitar
Hmm.
just by default.
Was this at Vepri, at the Vepri school?
Yeah,
St.
yeah,
Joseph's?
yeah. It
Okay.
was there. It was there after my plus two actually. So it so happened, my brother Christy had his friend's guitar with him. He used to work in the Oberoi from in Hyderabad.
Hmm.
So when he came down for to visit us, he accidentally left the guitar back and he went to catch his train back. So that guitar sat in my house for like 3 months until his next visit. And the third month is when I picked up the guitar and said, "Oh wow, this looks nice. Let's try it out."
Hmm.
And I used to play single string tunes.
Yeah. Probably
So that was
Surankani.
crazy stuff. So I didn't know how to hold a pick. And then the choir happened in Pudipet, where the Fletchers used to train the choir. Auntie Benita Fletcher and Mr. Everard Fletcher, Uncle Everard Fletcher from Pudipet. God bless his soul, he's no more. So he's probably one of my earliest, biggest influences possible. And
Hmm.
till today, I write about him on Facebook. And
Hmm.
I dedicate jazz songs whenever I cover a little bit of jazz. I mention his name. I make sure I do that because he
Yeah.
deserves. I have
Yeah.
to acknowledge him. So he used to encourage me to play in the choir. He used to literally tell me, "It's okay, play, play, play. These are the chords, just play." So Uncle Everard Fletcher is a very important part of my life, extremely important. Then there was Telford Dubier,
Hmm.
my classmate's brother, my classmate Alistair Dubier. He's no more, God bless him. So his brother was Telford Dubier, who's right now in Australia. So Telford is the next biggest inspiration. He used to play incense beads in the band,
Hmm.
and I used to just sit by him and watch him play
Hmm.
and practice with the acoustic.
What kind of music were you guys playing? Just the MLTR, just the top hits of the day, kind of?
He used to play stuff like La Bamba, MLDR,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. The
Yeah.
commercial
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff, not hard stuff,
Yeah.
but the very softy kind of a thing, like dance
Yeah.
stuff and things like that. But not
So
heavy stuff.
who was the what was the first time you walked in and saw like a live band playing? Do you know who that was?
My exposure was very late, actually. I'll tell
Hmm.
you, honestly speaking, my exposure to see a band, of course, wedding bands, of course, when we
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
kids to wedding bands, that's different. But a concert as such was in
Oh,
St.
even as a wedding band, like a dance or like a local band. Do you remember who was the earliest? Uh,
Oh, there
you
used to be
remember
high tensions,
High
Uncle
Tension?
Ashley
Yeah.
Grade
Uh,
and stuff like that.
Ashley Fee, yeah.
What a brilliant guitarist that
Yeah.
man is. Such a
Yeah.
sweetheart also by nature. So
Yeah.
good. Actually, if you look into it, our seniors are like amazing human beings.
Yeah.
Leave the music aside, leave the
Yeah.
playing bands, doesn't
Yeah.
count. But their attitude towards how they treat youngsters gave us so much of confidence, even though we were like zero in music at that time. They just treated us like equals, like they'll just put their arms around you even if they don't know you. They were
Yeah.
so amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Ashley Fee, I remember I still talk to Mark and Mario, and I asked them like, "Your dad had a Strat. That's probably the best Strat I've ever played."
yeah, the red one.
And yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's I. And he would like even if you're a big band, which High Tension was, right? It's not like now like you have like those seven guitars and probably another seven hidden somewhere, right? Uncle Ashley
Next room.
Figure probably had three guitars, so that guitar that he had was probably worth a lot,
Yeah.
to him. But he would just say, "Here, play it."
Yeah.
I only use this for like half my income, but you hold it.
So
It's like handing off something that's really dear to you. And he would just and I know I know he's probably taught. I used to go take lessons from him um, for because he lived right behind my house. Uh,
Oh, yeah, you
yeah,
guys are so lucky.
yeah,
So
uh,
lucky, so lucky.
yeah. So so High Tension was the first band, and then so what? So how did you get start? How did you get serious into guitar?
Oh, before that, I need to tell you about someone else,
Yeah.
Mr. Patrick Fernandez.
Mm.
He is one guy I owe a lot to, in a sense, who actually pushed me. I happened to meet him by chance. There was this friend of mine, Fabian De Silva, who studied with me. He was my classmate in St. Joseph's. So we had to play Sweet Child of Mine for cultures. I didn't know how to set a distortion patch. I had no clue what gain was, what level
Yep.
was, what tone was.
Yep.
I knew the notes, how to play it, and that's about it. I really was zook.
Yep.
There was no other guitarist. I was pushed to guitar, actually, literally. I was not good, not yet good. So my craving was to hold a Gibson shaped guitar and to play. Everyone
Yeah.
fantasizes about being
Yeah.
Slash most of
Sure.
the time. So I was not spared from that. So I asked Fabian, "Macha, I just want to play something which looks like a Les Paul. I am sick and tired of borrowing the school guitar from the music room, which are rusty strings and sound so bad.
It must have been a Mustang as well. I think most people had
Exactly,
Mustangs.
it was a
Exactly.
Mustang. So Fabian said, "Hey, don't worry, come to Santham. There's Pat. I'll get it from Pat." I thought Pat is another guy, small guy,
Yeah.
in uniform or something.
Yeah.
I went there and Uncle Pat is actually Ryan Fernandez's father,
Okay.
the same
Oh,
guy.
I got him mixed up. I thought is Patrick Fernandez related to Mark Wilcox? Is that
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're
okay?
all.
Okay. Yeah. Say
Yeah,
no more.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The two
David Fernandez.
legendary people who just
Oh
take over
yeah.
the stage.
Yeah.
Okay. I got it. Tell
So
me.
so Fabian took me to Pat's house and he yelled from the outside, "Pat, are you there?" So he said, "Yeah, I'm there. Come in." I expected to meet a guy, my age. I
Yeah.
went in and Pat was there with a t-shirt and a pair of shorts, like a man with mush. I'm like, "You called him Pat. You didn't call him Uncle." Okay, it was crazy for me. Like, so what? He asked me to call him Pat. I'm like, "Hello, Uncle. How are you?" He said, "Say, don't call me Uncle. Call me Pat." I said, "No, I can't do that. My mom will kill me if she knows." I said, "Yeah, I call him Uncle." And then he said, so Fabian told him, "Pat, he wants to use the Gibson for a song. When is it?" He said, "It's on the 14th. Take it. I only have a show on the 15th." I was shocked. I just looked at him. I said, "Uncle, you don't know me." He said, "It's okay, son. I know you'll treat it well." And it was a Les Paul. I think it was a 60s Les Paul,
Oh,
which is worth a
wow.
fortune. It was so
Dang.
heavy. I held it in my hand and I just told him, "Uncle, I really appreciate it. I promise you, I'll just take care of it like my life." I told him, and I carried a Les Paul in my arm and I came out. I said, "No, I can't believe this uncle gave it." I went back into the house. I said, "No, uncle, I can't take it." I just left it on his cot. I said, "No, uncle, I can't take this guitar. It's just too valuable. It's your personal guitar." He said, "No, it's okay. You take it and use it." I was like just blown by this. And that was when I started appreciating seniors more than my known classmates.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had so much respect for them for being so, golden hearted and sharing and so selfless they were. They didn't cling on to
Yeah.
possessions.
Yeah.
Then I used the guitar and I played real bad, obviously, because I was not a guitarist even then. After college only, I actually, no, during college, I kind of little
Wait,
polished up.
wait, which cultural was this? Was it what was it called? Do you
No,
remember?
this was just a school thing, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, was it local or was it like the multiple schools?
Many schools, yeah. I think it
Okay, okay.
was Asan Memorial or something like that.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Something like that it was. I
yeah,
don't quite remember, but it was. While I used the Les Paul, I was like
yeah.
raving about it all my life. Like that was when
Which have you? I'm not sure about the age difference, but have you ever played in a cultural where Lyndon Baldry played, or were you like a batch low, younger than that? Have you ever been at the same cultural with Lyndon Baldry?
I don't think
No. Okay.
I would have just given up on music if I had to see him there. I have to mention one more thing.
Yes. Tell me.
Lyndon is someone I owe a lot to.
Yeah.
I just look up to him till today. Whether he plays or doesn't play,
Yeah.
whether he's doing something else or not, he would always be someone I would look up to.
Yeah.
I just don't care what he does now, whether he's a rock star or whether he's a
Yeah.
corporate man. I look up to him, and period. I will always look up to him because what he gave me is something priceless. So I bought his. My first guitar was Lyndon's old guitar.
Was the black one?
It was one with 3 single coils.
Okay. I remember, I'll let you continue your story, but I remember same thing for me. The first person I saw like my age, I always thought great guitarists had to be older and growing up, right?
Yeah.
But there are two people that I saw early on. One was Mark Wilcox, shred. And
Yeah.
then when I was in culturals, I went to Dufton and I saw Lyndon play. He had this black guitar with fluorescent stars. All
Hurricane, the Hurricane guitar.
was Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think it was the Hurricane.
he and another guy were playing an old Petra
Sherry.
song. I think Judas Kiss or whatever. But that's my first like whoa, like kids my age can play the guitar so well. So
Yeah.
I always that image of Lyndon with his black guitar with stars on it in Dufton is like just burned in my head. But yes, tell me.
Yeah, he's a rock star, bro. So I went to his
He,
house to buy his guitar, and I was telling my brother, bro, I have to buy a guitar. Please buy me a guitar. This was after my parents had passed away. We had no money. So my fourth brother, Jan, he's the one who actually fathered and mothered me.
mm,
And he's the best thing that happened to me. Okay, so he's the one who bought me my first guitar. He saved, and it was 3,000 bucks then, which was a
yeah, yeah,
really
a
difficult.
salary.
Yeah, man, he
Yeah.
saved it over 6 months to buy me that guitar. Then I went to his house, and Lyndon just welcomed me. He just doesn't know me. He doesn't know me at all, and I just know him because he's so good. First question, so dumb, I asked him, can you play Hotel California? Do you know the lead for that? That was my IQ because in my house we had no music, we couldn't afford. We didn't have current until the 80s, can you believe? We couldn't
Wow.
afford it. Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah. It was crazy in my house because after my dad lost the business or hotel job or whatever, it was bankrupt. My house was bankrupt. I had
mm,
5 kids to feed, and my mom and dad.
yeah,
My mom was a teacher. Uniforms,
yeah,
food for five
yeah,
kids, house rent, clothes, taking care of herself, dad, and it's
yeah,
not two people, which is easy to
yeah.
manage. So our breakfast used to be boiled rava,
Mm,
just rava boiled with sugar
mm,
in half a glass. She'll pour it in 5 glasses. We used to drink that and go to school. That's it.
mm,
No milk also in the porridge. So we
mm,
couldn't afford that.
mm.
It was very difficult. And what we used to take for lunch used to be idlis sliced in half with sugar sprinkled in it.
Mm.
So all my classmates used to bring food and tiffin boxes, and we used to have just idlis, and I used to wonder why.
Mm.
So, but now I understand everything, what
Yeah,
life is all about and
yeah,
stuff like that. So
yeah.
anyway, so that being said, so getting back to this story, so Lyndon, I remember Lyndon offering me food in his house before I could even buy his guitar. So he was extremely kind, and yeah, I owe a lot to him, man, because he just spoke to me as if he knows me for so long, and I really
Mm.
appreciated that. Then there was Sherry, another guitarist,
Yeah,
Sheridan
yeah,
France.
yeah.
He is so
Cemetery.
amazing. Yeah, Cemetery and
Mm.
Fabian. So
Yeah.
Fabian's sister married my fourth brother Jan.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah, man. We just caught up when he came down from. He's in South Africa. So we
Who?
just caught
Fabian's
up.
in South Africa?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought he was in the Gulf. I actually reached out to him. I want to chat with him as well. He's a
Yeah,
really
such a
fascinating
sweet
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that the bands I looked up to, like, they are close to me now, and
Yeah.
I couldn't ask for more. It's like my childhood dreams, my heroes are. I can just message them or call them whenever I can. It's like beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
amazing.
It's awesome, man. So you bought Lyndon Baldry's guitar, and then what was your earliest your at least your first band that you actually played a gig with. What was your first full gig? What was it? Was it a wedding? Was it a what was that like?
I think the first one was we played for the dance in Arakonam with Mario
Really?
and
Yeah,
myself and
yeah,
Alistair singing
yeah,
and Melroy Ribeiro on drums. It was a school band,
yeah,
school come college band, just
yeah.
transitioning first year of college. We sounded bad, of course.
What was the gig, or maybe it's not the whole band, but you that you remember? It's you're embarrassed, like you bombed horribly as a guitarist. Do
Where
you have some? Was that?
I bombed badly.
Yeah, just horrible. Did
Oh,
you ever have a show like that?
that didn't happen then. Honestly speaking, the biggest bombs happen now. You know when?
Where,
See, I got into touring with this band called Maka, okay, and we travel around the world, literally the world, okay. We do regional stuff, but it's like Ranjit, Rahul, and Alap, three guys. Alap is a phenomenal bassy,
hmm.
and our drummer is a Guinness record holder for fastest number of beats. Yeah,
Oh wow.
6 years ago he was Guinness. And when he goes to an AM show, he chills with Portnoy and everyone. He's like really amazing. Our keyboardist is a prodigy,
Hmm.
Bonish. He plays everything from artists like Korea and
Hmm.
Jesus Molina and all the jazz and contemporary stuff. Okay, so I traveled with this band, and it's regional music. A
Yeah,
lot of syncopations, breaks, canacols, and counts and
yeah,
semi-demi stuff and all happening. So
yeah,
for a Western musician to
yep.
transition to that is very difficult. So I literally asked them, "Are you sure you want me to play?" I have no clue about these ragas and phrasings and kanakols and semi counts and stuff like that. They said, "Yeah," and we were close because we used to meet in the studio for recording and movies and stuff like that. So I went and played in Bangalore. That was like 4 5 years ago, man, and I goofed. Yeah, I'm not ashamed to say this out to the world. Yeah, I played bad. It was not then, it is now when I'm a so-called professional.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
bottom line, you cannot play everything perfectly. You have to learn and spend time maturing into that genre and getting used to it takes 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so I realized I used to think I could handle it, but I couldn't. So I messed up. According to them, it was not a mess up, but according to me, it was very pathetic.
Hmm.
So after the show was over, I just left my guitar. I was too ashamed to stand there. I went out of the pub and I was just sitting like this quietly alone. And they were looking for me. I said, "Hey, Inaiji, what? Come inside, just chill with us." So I feel so bad, man. I just screwed up your first show. I told you I'm not the one for this. I am not the guitarist for you. Go and find someone else. Leave me out of this. And I was like face long and so depressed, and everyone was like consoling me. Anna, don't worry, I'm going to kill the next show. I said, it's going to take me 10 shows to get
Hmm.
something decent with you. I don't want to pull your name down. And these guys are celebs. One guy sang like 1,000 songs for the film industry. He toured the world like long ago. He's done and dusted touring the world.
Hmm.
Another guy sang like some 600 songs. Another guy is a very world renowned bassy and singer and stuff. So I shouldn't be a letdown for the band. So I
Yeah.
kept telling
Yeah.
them no. So what Alap did was, when we came out of the airport, he sat me down and said, "See, Bruce, I know this is a different genre of music. It's not what you grew up with. I don't care how you sound on stage, but I seen the amount of work you put in. You sat, you wrote down your notes. In your own understanding, you wrote down the counts and this and that, and you tried. This is what I expect from you. I do not expect results
Hmm.
even in the next 5 shows." So to find someone who encourages you and pushes you to that extent, it hits you twice. One is you realize that your bandmates on an emotional level, not just professional.
Yeah.
And two is they are so professional enough to accept that you're still not good enough.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it took me time to transition, but now I kill it, man. I just make sure I kill it.
Yeah.
So now I can handle it. I'm so confident because I played gigs with Trishur Brothers where it's all Carnatic syncopated stuff,
Yeah.
and you have to learn a lot of stuff. I'm not perfect yet. I'm still a learner, but I know that I am doing a good job and I'm happy about it. But it took me so much of, you know, embarrassment.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Have to
Yeah.
go. You have to go through that if you need something. And
Yeah.
they were gracious enough to accept my flaws.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this would be my biggest bombing. Not the past, not the past at all.
So when did you start to become? How did you get into the film industry? What was that? What was a yeah? What was the earliest thing that you figured out? Like, wow, I'm actually in the film industry now, and this looks like an exciting, because that's your full time. You're a professional guitarist, and most of your
Mhm.
gigs are in the industry, right? Film industry or
Yes, session.
movies, right? So what was that? How did you get into that?
I had to leave home for that.
Mm,
So I won a lot of best guitarist IIT, this, that, and deep woods and whatever. I won 5, 6 times in a row. I used to hide my certificates behind the altar.
mm,
So because my brothers, they wanted the best for me. So naturally they seen a lot of musicians not, I would say not utilizing things to the fullest.
sure.
And in those days, people are not open-minded to being a professional
Yeah.
musician. It was a
Yeah.
little different kind of a profession. They wanted an office job or a government job, whatever
Yeah.
stuff. So it's only fair that after my parents have died, my brothers took care of me, and they wanted me to do something else, like a corporate job, which I did for a year. I was an animator, content writer, animator, and then I was an assistant director where we shot very high budget ad films,
Mm,
like the top ad films we shot. Like I used to be a part of all that. And then I told me I want to be a musician for life. So naturally, no one's going to accept it.
yeah. For sure.
Okay, so it is not their fault. It is my fault because I dropped the bomb abruptly, not in a gradual way. So, but I used to keep practicing and practicing. I used to fall asleep with a guitar on me. My brother will take my guitar and keep it. And almost every day, I used to fall asleep with a guitar on top of me. So
Mm,
I used to just learn and learn and learn. So I decided I have to leave home if I want to be a guitarist. So I quit my job. I left home without telling my brother. I just wrote a letter. My fourth brother and I used to stay together. The
okay.
others were married. So I hope it doesn't give out a bad example to people watching. But yeah, this is the truth. So I'm just being very
Yeah.
open about it. Okay,
Yeah.
and not many people know about it.
Yeah.
So I left. It was not easy. It was
Sure.
not easy. I had $40 in my hand.
Mm,
I had a good paying job then, with cards, debit cards, credit cards, whatever. I had a proper job kind of a thing. So I took only my Epiphone Gibson. That was the only guitar I had, and my small AX1G processor, which was that big Korg.
yeah.
I put that in my bag. I just walked out. I said, "Damn, I have to make it. I have to be a musician. I cannot look at myself doing anything else. This is too much. I can't go through this corporate life."
Mm,
It was not a bad job. I had a good job,
yeah.
but then the guitar was just pulling me apart.
Sure.
Do we have time?
Yeah. 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 I'm just getting my coffee. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So then I left home. I had nowhere to go, so I landed up on Guindy station. Okay, so I spent the night on the station platform with my guitar. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, man. One day went. I bought biscuits and tea for my dinner. The next day I had $25 remaining. I had biscuits, one samosa, and coffee. Money was over. I just went, sat in a church, and I just cried my heart out. I said, God, I have no clue what's next. I don't know anything. I
Mm,
just want to play guitar for the rest of my life. Then night fell, and the next night my clothes were literally soaked in sweat and smelly. So by 9:15, I went to the station shop. Ponwanda soaps, washing
yeah.
soaps. They
Yeah.
used to cut half and give it to you for 50 paisa.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
think I
man. I
vaguely
bought half a
remember that.
soap.
Mm,
I rolled my clothes on the platform night when everyone were gone. I washed it with the soap under a pump,
mm.
hung it up on a tea stall counter which was closed,
Holy
waited
cow!
for
I
it
did
to dry,
not know this.
sitting on my haunches waiting for it to dry, and no one was on the platform except dogs and transgenders or whatever. I had to explain to them why I'm here. I left my house. Please don't bug me. I was holding my guitar in my hand and sleeping, waiting for the clothes to dry, just praying for heat to come so my clothes will just get dry. My clothes will still be filled with dew, and I'll wear it early morning before the first train can come, before the people can start coming. I remember going behind and just wearing my clothes so fast. And my guitar and stuff, and mosquitoes just bit the hell out of me.
Oof.
Then I landed up with malaria. I discovered I had fever. I went and took a crocin. Just counting my money, 10 paisas and 25s and 50 paisas and 1 rupees. It was horrible, man. I went to the corporation hospital, got treated for malaria. They pricked my finger. I gave my guitar finger without knowing. They pricked my index. I was like, oh my god, wrong finger. So they took a smear on glass. That's how they
Yeah,
checked for malaria those days. So malaria positive, they told me in the evening. I said, okay, what to do? They gave me some stuff to drink and something. Can't be admitted. I asked them if I can be admitted. At least I'll have a bed to sleep. No admission. So back to the platform. Stayed there for another few days and borrowed money from a friend, $200, and went to Chetpat and Egmore and just stayed there. The least crowded ones, I stayed there because I didn't want known people to see me. It's so embarrassing. So I used to wash my clothes and stuff, buy clothes from the platform and wear it and stuff. Very difficult it was, and literally starve, go to church, cry, not knowing what to do next. So then I went and stayed on my friend's terrace. There used to be a room with just a curtain where old furniture used to be junked on top, and there used to be like some 4x4 space. When it rains, water will splash in, so I used to keep my guitar on a shelf and I used to sit on a broken stool. Just that was the place I had to. It was home, and I used to drink from the tap. The tank water used to be water supply. Yeah, and my plectrum used to chip off, and I used to use the pieces as plectrums. I couldn't afford to buy a pick. My strings used to break. I used to go to the mechanic shed down the road, pick up a clutch cable, come back and wipe it with a cloth.
No way, really?
Yeah, man, this is the truth. This is my guitar string, what I'm talking about. I used to unravel the clutch cable and fix it as my string. Couldn't afford it. Where will I get money from? I can't go back home. My brothers had a tough time looking for me. They went through hell. Obviously,
Sure.
They went through hell. But at that point of time, I was blind to it. But of course, I apologized to them and all, like
Yeah.
intense apologies. And I said, brother, I'm sorry. But I have a drive in me. I cannot come back home. I cannot. I used to call them from the booth. They'll be sobbing, please come back home, brother. You do what you want, but come home and stay. I say, no, I have to be a musician. So I used to borrow Walkmans and listen to songs and keep learning and stuff like that. And I used to learn albums after albums. Somehow God gave me the knowledge to just figure out stuff. I don't know what, but I just used to figure out. And then I started playing for the... I started teaching in the Unwind Center after that.
Okay, yeah.
I used to teach there, and weekly I used to get like some $700, $800 or whatever for like few batches, 2 batches, 3 batches, whatever. If it's 4 batches, I get like some $1,200, $300 a batch. It was decent money way back then. I'm talking like more than 20 years ago. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so that used to be my food day. I just stock up food and keep and stuff like that. And clothes I still used to buy from the platform. Wherever I see something, just go buy it quickly and just run away from there so no one can see me. So no one sees me and stuff like that. And whatever. So I used to buy a set of Karuna strings. That was the best I could afford. At least I had new plectrums, 1 rupee one.
Was it the multicolored ones?
Oh yeah, exactly. I still have 6 of them in a box.
Those are
Those
classic.
are my memories, man.
Yeah.
So then I took up a house in Tiruvika. I started
Where
playing
is
gigs.
that? Where is that? Is that close to Jawahar Nagar? Is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
No way! I did not know you ever lived. That was my area, dude.
Yeah, it was,
Okay.
yeah. So I took a single room, a toilet and a kitchen. And I had a pot, a mat to sleep, a couple of clothes to wear, and I got an AX1000G processor, a little bigger. 1000.
Upgraded.
Third hand, I bought it. That was
Which
like,
girl?
oh my God, huh?
Who had it?
I think it was this guy called He's right now in the US. He's become a pastor there. Very sweet guy. Very, very nice guy.
Okay.
Very honest guy. So he sold it to me, I think, in 2 installments or 3 installments. He used to
Okay.
go give his mom the money at home and come. So I got an AX1000G, which I used for a couple of years and gigged with it intensively.
Mm.
And then I used to play for the jazz branch in Meridian. Jazz branch, only the name, nothing next to jazz. Some rubbish. I used to play and call it jazz. I was so ashamed to to say that I played jazz because jazz is so superior.
Sure.
I used to just make do with whatever I knew, and yeah, when I go to Meridian, Sundays used to be like food day. I used to eat and eat and eat for a full week, like a glutton, and then pack up my stuff and come back home and all. So little money saved and got a mattress for me to sleep, and then I assembled one guitar. It was the body was to be chucked out from Perungudi, the guitar factory.
Mm.
Then the stock belonged to some other company. And the pots and volume pots and tone controls, the bridge was not aligned. I had to drill extra holes and align it and handmade one guitar and stuff like that. So that was how it went on for me.
So who introduced you to the film industry? What was the
No one
first?
did introduce me as such. I had no idea. When I left my home, I went to Central Station. My plan was, my friends were in Assam. I wanted to just go there and form a band. I had no
Got it.
intention about studio
Yeah.
work. I had no idea what a studio is. My friends in Assam, they said, don't worry, just come, we'll make a band here, you can stay in our house. That was it. I was pushed by my young age and my ambition and
Sure.
love for music. Okay, so I was blinded by the other factors, how it might affect others and stuff,
Yeah.
which I'm ashamed of also. So I went to the counter and I asked him, give me a ticket to Assam. He asked me which station, and I was blinking.
Mm.
And that time, the guy behind me said, give me a ticket to Divine Retreat Center, Chalagudi.
Mm.
So I looked at him and I said, oh, give me also a ticket to Chalagudi, Divine Retreat Center. It's the retreat center which they
Yeah.
put up. So I just landed up in Chalagudi out of my own will.
Mm.
So I had a retreat for 1 week where I realized a lot of things, what God actually does in your life.
Mm.
I stayed on for another week. My brother found out I was in Chalagudi
Mm.
because I told one friend. He came there to take me back home. I said, brother, please, I don't want to come back. Just give me 1 more week. I'll make 1 more retreat and I'll come back. So the retreat was over. I told my brother, please don't ask me. This is the place where I'm staying. My friend's house. This is my friend's house. I'll be contactable on this phone. Don't ask me to come. So I was still hell-bent on making a musician out of myself.
So when you were at the retreat, you were just there you weren't like part of it. You weren't playing
No.
guitar for them. You were just okay.
I was with my guitar. I used to just jam after the retreat to myself. That's about it, and go to sleep. That's it. So I made a retreat for 2 weeks instead of 1 week.
Cool. Yeah,
So-
I know that was a big thing back then. The Chalakudi.
I still go there to play.
Oh, really? Nice.
It's my commitment kind of a thing every
Yeah.
year for the Youth International Retreat, where we have bands from all over the world coming and some thousands of people.
Oh, wow.
So I'm deeply indebted to that place. Yeah, of course.
So what was the first record, or like move? What was the first show or movie that you recorded for, and who was the director? Music director.
Vijay Anthony seen me playing in Jeffries when I was playing with Sean, Orlando, Maynard, and Mark Wilcox.
Okay.
So this guy, Vijay Anthony, met me, and he's a big music director and also an actor. So he met me and asked me if I record. I said, I record, but this is the equipment that I have. I don't have anything else. I said, it's okay, you come to Audiophile Studio in Kodambakkam. I didn't know where on earth Audiophile Studio was. And I found it and I went the next day at 10:30 a.m. I went at 10, it was at 10:30. And I looked around and I was like, wow, what is this? This is a room to record guitar. Oh my god, these mics, I've seen these mics. They're so cool. And then he asked me, did you bring your acoustic? I said, I don't have an acoustic. Yeah, he said, nah, Bruce, leading a professional. Then I said, I'm not a professional, I just play in bands. But next week I'm buying an acoustic. I just lied and told him. I said, okay, fine, you come next week with the electric and acoustic. I was like, oh my god, I spent money on auto and I'm not getting anything. He gave me conveyance, he gave me 150 bucks. I was like, oh thank god. Next week I went, I saved money, bought an acoustic electric, and I went and I recorded. So it was for this movie, I think by two, by two, or Kadalil Virandhen or something, one of those movies. So I recorded a song. Then he asked me to come next week for another song, and then he paid me around 3,000 for the song, and I was like, oh my god, it's 3,000 bucks, man.
Mm.
Okay, fine. I was like, yeah, sure, sure, no problem. So I bought new strings and changed my pickups. I just didn't spend anything on myself. So the next week I went and recorded another song, and then when I was playing in Meridian Hotel, Harris Jairaj is in charge, the manager of Harris Jairaj. He met me there, and he asked me, he told me, Harris wants to talk to you. I'm like, who's Harris?
Mhm.
I didn't know anything because I
Sure.
don't listen to Tamil music and all.
Yeah.
So my world was only this commercial stuff, dance music and all. Then he said, Harris Jairaj, you don't know? I said, no, sir, I don't listen to regional music. I'm just a Western musician and I have no clue what it is all about. I said, Harris wants you to record for one of his movies. I said, wow, that'll be great. Then he told me to come to his studio, and I went there, and the studio was like large as life. Woodwork and sweet smelling, and wow. Like the consoles was like, I was just looking around. I was like, oh my god, this is where Keith comes to record, and I'm here in the same place. Then I had to explain to him. I said, sir, it's my first time for you. I'm a little bit nervous, so you'll have to just bear with me. I might be limited in your music, but I will try my best. I just told him. Then he sat me down, he told me what he wants, and then I played it. It just went well. And then after that, for all I know, the next 20 movies of Harris, it was me all along. And
Nice.
movie of Vijay Anthony's 10, 15 movies of his, and then I just went on. I haven't made one demo also in my life to give it to people. I had no clue there was this side of life to being a musician.
Yeah.
I don't know, no, because my exposure was not there.
Yeah.
So just
How
happened
many
and
how
changed.
many movies do you think you've done? Do you lost track? Do you know
I
roughly?
lost track. Should be more than 1,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
And when you say 1,000 movies, that's probably like what? Like is it it's probably like 5 songs a movie?
not all the songs necessarily have
Got
guitars,
it.
but I've been part of at least 1,000 movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
1,000
And
movies should be
that's
largely
then
like.
there's the shows as well, right? Like do you it's not just movies, you do other shows like
Yeah.
like so yeah, so you've been busy and you have your name stamped all over the music industry. And is it mostly Tamil music or is it like any Hindi movies or?
Yes, all languages. I played for Tulu, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, Hindi,
Hmm.
bilingual, Korean. It's like so much. Amitabh Bachchan's movies and
Oh, really?
yeah,
Dang.
everyone's.
So
Everyone.
when we're done with this, right? Definitely share some of the movies or the songs from movies that we can go and listen, and I'll add it in the description so people can go in and check out Bruce
Ayyo.
uh, in playing in some like hit songs. So a lot of people. So I know Bruce. I know I've known you for a bit, but I know I came in. I don't know why, but we were. I think my band was doing something, or for some reason, I don't know where I met you for the first time. It was maybe in your house. I know you had a 12-string guitar and you were playing some classical music, and I was like, what is this guy doing playing this music? Then also you were showing me your diary and your artwork, and you were telling me like about this pen that would draw with only like points, like only with dots. You would do these drawings,
That's a rotary
and
pen.
somebody sent you a pen set. Like I don't know. I think you were very excited. Maybe it was just after Christmas, but you were showing me, hey, like, what the heck? This guy is doing drawings like I've never seen before. So a lot of people don't know. Well, a lot of people will know Bruce is a great guitarist and an artist, but the staying on the station was a shocker. That was news to me. So yeah, how did you? So Bruce is a really talented artist. He's really good. Uh, if you want to share some, if you want to later on, send me like pictures of any art if you still have. You can just put it up there at the end. So
I'll
yeah,
do
so
it.
So yeah, Bruce is a great artist as well. So other than drawing, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, that you're just a creative person because you were directing movies and you're an animator and all that. What else are you? What else are you into? Secret things that we don't know about.
That's about it. It's
Yeah. Are
just a
you a
lot of
good cook?
fun. I
Do you
used to.
enjoy cooking?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I enjoy a lot of cooking. Yes, for
What's
sure.
your, what's the, if you were to invite somebody to your house for lunch, what would you cook to show off your cooking skills?
I
Idlis and
don't know.
sugar?
I can. Childhood memories, man.
Yeah.
I can make not many Indian dishes, but Chinese stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
Manchurians and all that stuff. Yeah,
Nice. Do
definitely.
you remember how to cook like authentic Chinese from your dad? Do you remember, or do you try to mimic that when you cook? Or is it like the
Try
Indo-Chinese
to.
version?
I try to, but Dad's cooking was something else
Yeah.
because that's his staple diet. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he used to grow the green gram at home and wait till it sprouts like in a
Hmm.
week or something.
Yeah.
And then he'll chop off those things and add those things into the noodles. And they used to have a couple of herbs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some crazy stuff they used to do.
Yeah, it's probably different skill set, right?
Yeah,
And the ingredients to cook like authentic Chinese. If you did
yeah.
not train under your dad, did not intentionally learn. So, so, so Bruce, I know we talked about all the fun stuff, the flair, and like some not fun stuff, right? Of you, but that's the dedication, right? In being successful. So I know a lot of Anglos are probably listening to this, and probably musicians. They're all like they're in school, and they want to be great at anything, right? And not just music, but that dedication that you had and that drive to not give up is really important. Obviously, kids don't run away from home. That was just the truth. It wasn't guidance, right? But the thing to take away is there's the dedication and the drive to do something and to just go do it, right? Even if somebody says no, you have that self belief, right? Believing in yourself and doing it even when things are difficult, right? So that's a great story. But what is your discipline, and how do you keep getting gigs? And so tell me the business side of things. Like you, right, you have to work on that craft as a guitarist to play the flashy licks, right? But then there's a discipline also to manage your business. How do you get gigs? How do you present yourself? Or is it just word of mouth? How do you do that? Share with us some good tips.
Honestly, regarding tips, there's no tips as such. But hard work does pay someday
Yeah.
or the other. I know I was honest to my practices. My fingers literally used to bleed. Literally, it used to bleed. Literally.
Hmm.
It's not just for saying it, but I'm happy that I went through that rigorous part of practice and stuff. Of course, there was a lot of frustration because nothing happened for a couple
Sure.
of years, even after putting in the hard work and gigging, and we never used to get paid on time. We used to get ripped off by people, our own band members, and stuff like that. Very unfair. A lot of unfair things used to happen. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. It's not all rosy all the time, no? So we
Sure.
have to step on some real bad tracks to find some comfort on your feet.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
do you
what I would say.
dedicate, sorry, do you dedicate like a certain amount of time to work on the business side of things in your day, or what's the, or do you just, how do you get your gigs? Or is that like an industry secret,
Oh
or,
no, nothing at
okay,
all.
okay.
Nothing at all. It's just word of mouth. That's it. I just
Word
play
of mouth? Okay.
the movie releases. Even 3 weeks ago, I went to play 2 songs for a movie, and they kept me back and gave me 4 songs to play.
Mm.
There are 2 more songs. Can you also play the same songs? I tell them, get another guitarist. Will have a different flavor also to your
Yeah.
songs. I'm
Yeah.
I'm very honest in what I do. To be very honest,
Yeah.
now we kind of play package in the sense like play guitar and ukulele if necessary, and electric, acoustic, and bass as well. They ask us to play. And they say, since you're playing guitar, you play bass also, you know the song already better, and you can take it as a package, we'll pay you. I'll say no, I will not do package, because bass is another man's job.
Yeah.
He needs to feed his family.
Mm.
So I refuse. So weekly, at least one recording, I refuse point blank. I say no,
Mm.
I'm not up for
So
it.
you just show up at the studio and you're given a song and you just have to like play, right? That
You have to add to it. You have to be spot on
Yeah,
in adapting to that genre of music. It'll be
yeah,
pure hardcore Carnatic sometimes.
yeah,
They'll tell you the notes,
yeah,
which won't be finger friendly. It will not be
yeah,
part of your muscle memory
yeah,
or your
yeah.
vocabulary, what you're used to
Sure.
playing. It won't be ascending or descending. It'll be a jumble of notes. The first note will be on the fifth fret. The second note you have to play will be on the fifth string on the second fret. So it's like a jump, and
Mm,
you know, you have to adapt instantly. You can't tell them, give me 10 minutes, I need to practice this. They will wait, of course,
yeah,
but
yeah.
subconsciously they'll be impatient.
Studio time is expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some studios they charge 3K per hour,
yeah,
4K per hour. By the
yeah.
time you load the song and start your sound check, 1 hour's gone.
So are you showing up at the gig with a bunch of guitars and you take what's your rig like that you show up with? You're not lugging amps. You're taking some digital pedal, right? Like the Helix or
Yeah, yeah, the
Kemper.
Helix, yeah, yeah.
So is
I
that your main workhorse? Do you have the original guitar that you bought from a long time ago where you used to practice in the nights?
No, Lennon's guitar I gifted it to Richard later
Okay.
on, much later in life, because Richard didn't have a guitar, so
Yeah.
I gifted it. Richard is one of the best singers I've heard so far. Richard Nathan.
Awesome. So you, when you show up at the studio and like, you're like the Steve Lukather of Madras, then just like,
Bro,
hey,
don't say it like that.
here's the song, play it, and you just
No, no,
take
no,
a
don't
song
say
and you
it.
do what it calls for. Kind of. I
Yeah,
would say so. Yeah.
bro. Not Steve, look at the. Please don't use that word. I know where I stand. I'm a good guitarist, okay? But the thing is, my benchmarks are pretty high, so I will not accept.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm shy, maybe I have a complex that I grew up with, but I know what fabulous guitarists are out there before me. Fabulous. Like there's one guy, Sandeep, who's in Kerala, who's like
Mm.
brilliant. Just out of this world. And I acknowledge good musicians. It's not like I
Yeah.
hide them away and don't talk about them. No,
Yeah.
I like to say it out. There's this guy called Rhythm Shah, who's another legendary guitarist from Calcutta. There are so many amazing guitarists.
Yeah.
So my benchmark is
Yeah.
those guys.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, like you mentioned Unwind Center, like that was the place, like I used to work there, as you know, but we had like a front row seat to all these legendary guys who just show up and play, and you'd be like right in front, and not knowing who they were initially, and then finding out like, wait, this dude is like touring the world, and he's just playing here. He just shows up and he picks up a guitar and he can just play. Like like the first time I met Keith Peters was I was just started playing guitar, just starting to form a band, playing all the
Bone
wrong
song.
notes,
Bone
all the
song.
wrong. What's that?
Was it Bone song?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Nicholas D'Souza was the drummer, and Nicholas and I think Keith Peters is Nicholas's uncle, so he showed up at one of like his mom and dad's anniversary, and he was just playing. I was like, "Who is this guy playing bass with us?" I thought, "Where's my bassist?" And I did not know who he was, and he was playing bass, and I was just playing the worst, horrible things that probably like. I know he has perfect pitch even, so
Yeah.
I might have been torturing him with my imperfect, far from perfect playing. So only later on I came to know who he was and what's his
Mm.
status in the music industry and what's his kind of like, holy cow, I played with this guy. I shouldn't even.
Yeah, man, he's such a cool guy. We are roomies. Whenever we travel, we are roomies.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have such good fun. He'll be next to me playing one stage, I'll be next to him. We'll be commenting about every single thing in the world.
yeah. He's a funny guy.
Very funny, very funny. And he's mega professional and he's
Yeah,
someone to look up to.
yeah. Do you have perfect pitch or do you
Ah,
have a relative pitch? Yeah,
kind of, but
yeah,
not perfect. For sure, not perfect.
yeah, yeah. Awesome, dude.
Imperfect.
Well, so what's the plans for Bruce here on? I know you have you ever thought about teaching? I know you used to teach at online. Do you still teach? Can be. I know during COVID times you would offer free lessons, and Bruce is
Yes.
generous of his time. Do you plan on teaching, or what's the future plans for Bruce, professionally at least?
Future plans as such, I probably plan to do music direction probably in 2026. I had
Nice.
offers all over starting from 22. I've been getting offers, but I told them I don't have an aptitude for music direction as yet. No, not at all. I've heard the script also. Like for 3 movies, I heard the script, and they said, "Sir, if you don't want to do the music, don't do it. But listen to the script. You might want to do it." I told them if I come and listen to it, I'm surely going to say no. So I heard the script also. We spent time. I said, "See, I have to say no because I don't think this is the right step for me to take right now. Things are going good. I'm a sessions guitarist right now. I'm happy with the workload that I have. I record from my house. I go out for recording. I have a couple of gigs, and I get my jingles and albums to play for also, which I play from home and I send it across. So right now, there's no place on my plate to do a movie, which would take away like a couple of months
Sure.
of my time.
Yeah.
And if I do a movie, people would hesitate to call me for sessions after that.
Why
So
is that? Because now you're a
yeah,
director.
because I
Okay,
got promoted to music director.
got it.
So
Yeah,
they'll have a
yeah,
little. He's listening to my music. He's playing for my thing. Then so that's a little trait thing, which is a natural thing. Anyone would
sure.
think that way. So I think when I'm treading on the road where I always dreamed of treading, I shouldn't want to jump onto the next road. I should travel, make my journey, find my destination, see where the road takes me, how it feels to walk, enjoy my ride rather than just wait for the destination. So the
Yeah.
journey is more important than the destination. So right now I'm in that point of life where I don't have any big wants or desires. I want to do this, want to do that. Right now I'm
Hmm.
busy enough with what I have, and I thank God immensely for what He's given me. So I have a lot
Yeah.
on my plate right now. So I think I will stick to being a sessions musician for the next 1.5 year. Then I will take the next step if I think it's the right thing to do.
Sure. Sure.
So that's how
Yeah.
I
And
need
I'm
to progress.
I'm
And
glad you brought that up and you said thank God. I think I don't think we should ever leave talking to Bruce about his faith, and your beliefs, because Bruce is very clear that you've been influenced by strong spiritual leaders. Christianity is part of your life. I know you have a strong relationship. It's a real, authentic relationship. So yeah, tell me about that. We'll wrap it up after that. Tell me about the spiritual side of Bruce, and like how did you? When was it that you became like your relationship with Jesus? Like when did that really develop?
that was always in me from childhood,
Yeah.
always inculcated by my parents. And my father had such immense faith after converting. So,
Mm.
a Buddhist man and living life as a Christian and stuff like that. So, my dad always prayed.
Mm.
Always. He had immense faith, much more than I could ever have. Mom was a perfect example also for us. Every family, the mom holds it together.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Yeah.
mom is that glue that binds it
Yeah.
all together.
Mm.
So give credit to all our moms for sacrificing the entire lives. There's not one moment they take for themselves. They just don't take one split second also just to for themselves. That 1 second also they just put it for you. So
Mm.
it's a crazy thing how moms are made to function that way.
I know,
So
right?
we have to really seriously just pedestal them. But then and
Awesome,
then,
dude. Well, it's been great talking with you. I know it's late tonight. What are you going to do after this? Get some dinner and chill out? Are you free for the rest of the evening?
oh, I have to learn a set list.
Okay. Where are you playing? What's your Christmas time is coming up, right? What's the any gigs you're playing at? You wanna
Tomorrow at B146,
nice.
we are doing Rolling Stones and Brian Adams.
Who are you playing? Oh, wait, are you playing with Ollie? No, who are you
No,
playing
no,
with?
no, it's different. It's a different setup. It's
Okay,
Jenny on bass and Sham and Anish,
got it.
Sindhuja, Anchal and Raghu and some guys like that. And
What
Jaideep
about
also guitars. And then I finish the gig and Saturday morning I drive to Vellore for another gig. Get back and back to work. That's it.
awesome? Any Christmas and New Year's gigs you want to promote? Like come see Bruce play
No,
for
I
New Year's
haven't
and
taken
Christmas?
up
No, you're
anything.
not doing?
I don't think I will take up any dances after this because
Yeah.
I had enough. Honestly speaking, I had enough of
Sure.
gigging, so I won't want to take any more pressure from that side anymore. So, and I've gotten used to this routine. The practices from 5 to 8 means it has to be from 5 to 8. It can't be 5:45 to 8:45 on spillover because other things are waiting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
For sure.
I will not risk anything. I will not put myself in jeopardy because if I come into a recording at 10, I have to show up at 10,
Sure.
and you may call it my USP, but my USP is punctuality. So I have never been late for a single recording, except when there's a calamity on the road or something like that. Other than that, it's always on time. I'm always on time for my sessions.
Yeah. There you go, kids. Tips from a pro. Be on time, musically even,
Oh, yeah.
and punctuality.
And by the way, you two are part of my inspirations.
Yeah. Come on.
I should give you that. I have to mention it, honestly speaking. When you're playing with Bonzo and Eddie used to sing and your band was like extremely power packed, I used to look at how you used to chug in the unwind you played once. I envied you, man. Yes. No, it was see, every genre of music is literally an art form which has been evolving, getting better in time and takes so much time to master. Even palm muting takes time to master.
Yeah. For
Otherwise
sure.
it's going to sound loose, and that music is like extremely powerful. I
Yeah.
recorded some gent stuff also, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Some real 7 string stuff and all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So Bruce is going to share some links that I'll put in the description
Yeah,
below that you
man,
can check out.
please.
Yes. Yeah, some movies. Just share a bunch of like different genres. We'll put it up so people can check it out. And if you have any drawings that love to
No.
show up, but you don't have to. But if you do, if you have a picture, I'd love to put it up. No pressure. Whatever you're comfortable with. All right, Bruce, I won't keep you from. You got a busy day. It's late in India, in Vallasarapakam. Is that correct? Did I remember?
Exactly.
Okay, cool beans. All right, man, dude. It's always a pleasure. I got to actually meet up with you last year when I was there,
Yeah.
and hang out at Starbucks and go to the mall.
Beautiful day, man. Seriously.
Yes,
I got
it's
to meet
always
your girl, your daughter.
yes,
So
yes. It's
sweet.
always a
And
pleasure. What's your favorite guitar from back there?
ah,
What guitar are you picking up by default?
see, the most attached to me is my Epiphone Gibson, the black one there, because that's the
Hmm,
oldest one. I won all my competitions on that. That's
nice.
been with me through it all, and through day one to now, it's been with me.
Hmm,
So I use it for jazz gigs and stuff like that. And
sweet.
jazz, I can't play jazz. I try to play, so I use it. And yeah, I have a Japanese Schecter, a Mexican
Okay.
Strat, of course, and then the Gem and Japanese Westone, which I got from Kaden Dias's relative. So
Oh, really? Do you have the new gem or do you have the 2023, 2020? I know they came out with a gem like,
oh no, not the Evo. No,
okay, it was the Evo,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I got the older one.
Nice.
Yeah, the one with the 24th fret will be glass embossed with steel
Yeah.
written inside.
Oh,
The
sweet.
Evolution series pickups. That's
I
one.
know the first person I saw that was Christie had a gem, I
Yeah,
think.
he had a gem. Yeah,
Yeah,
and he sold.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think he sold it to someone, and I picked it up after that. I think.
Oh, really?
I think that's the guitar. I think that's
Mm.
the guitar. I think.
Dude, yeah. I want to talk to Christie as well at some point in time.
Oh yeah, brilliant guy.
Yeah,
Brilliant guy.
awesome, dude. Well, Bruce, always a pleasure speaking with you, man. Good luck in all your things. Definitely, we'll be checking out your music for sure.
Thanks, buddy. So sweet of you to have me on board. Really appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
Nice,
See you,
man.
Bruce.
Good night,
Bye.
buddy. Good night. Good night.